My purpose here this morning is to educate and inform. I'm not really selling anything. I'm going to talk about the mechanics, the psychology, and some of the pitfalls of working in social media these days. First thing is we got to understand what we're doing. We're in the business of advertising. And the challenge of a lot of salespeople is realizing that in order to advertise, we are encouraging, we are persuading, and we are manipulating the minds of the consumer. We are going in and we are tweaking things and pressing buttons to create action. Specifically, what we want is to generate a measurable gain. It's no use putting ads in newspapers, ads on the internet, spending time on building teams, and paying people to write tweets and all this kind of stuff if you're not making money. And to understand the mission in real estate, we're looking for that fully executed sales contract. That's the only way you guys generated income. And where I get kind of conflicted in working with some salespeople, not just in real estate, but they think they're in the website business. I want to spend money to generate traffic on my website. Well, I say, so what? I want to generate more inquiries on the phone. Well, how many receptionists do you really want to hire? And I want to get all these referrals, and I want to have all these people sending me names. Are we in the mail list business? No. We're in the business of selling. And that means we've got to generate more income than we do costs. So the raw materials in the real estate game are two things, buyers and sellers. And what we're looking for are things that are out of balance. The only time that we as salespeople can actually do any good and bring clarity to a situation is when people's lives are out of balance. And real estate is that thing that's going to solve their problems. When they don't have a house, when their house is too small, and we come down to needs. I don't have a house, so maybe I can't go out and find that spouse who's looking for an all-powerful spouse with some assets. My house is too small, my house is too big. Ones I've been dealing with on the family side are children who are about to inherit a property from the parents, and nobody wants to pay the taxes on it. So these are real problems that people are having with properties today, is how do I deal with all this? This is causing so much frustration that my relationships are falling apart. I need an expert to help me with all of this. And all their decisions right now are controlled by this fear that I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to lose the relationship with my sister. If I don't get the right house, my wife is going to be upset at me all the time. If I don't help my kids get out of the house and get their own place, I'm going to go insane because I just can't live with them anymore. So we're pulled down. Even though we might have 20, 30 years into a career as a homeowner, I can get pulled down from, being at the top of Maslow's ladder right down to safety and security, when at the end of the day I got to make a financial decision about my property and I don't know who to trust. And that's where we as salespeople come in, because our job is to take them from inaction to action. In order to get rid of that frustration, what we need to do is bring clarity to them so that they can jump, that they can list that property with you. Or, is Bill Little here? Bill's got a property listed a couple of doors down from me up in Burkton that's been listed probably by 4 different realtors in the last year. And I have to assume that this owner, the seller, really doesn't understand what's happening in his property if he's going through this many really good salespeople. So we as salespeople got to bring to the table some kind of process of getting them into action, and we do that through clarity. The buyer, the consumer, goes through a process. And one of the challenges that I see in social marketing is that they're trying to hit them up with a sales pitch or a close when they're not even ready to think about that. They move through, I've got my need, I'm looking for information. And social media is all about this part, the third part in the circle, information search. And if we believe the top owner, manager, CEO of the world's largest advertising company, right now he's saying branding is dead. He's saying that all these companies, all these real estate companies, all these car companies, they're all about the same in the eyes of the consumer. Everybody realizes that by hiring a realtor, they're going to come in, they're going to list the property, and they're going to do their best. So what can really differentiate? What can really make me look at you in your advertising? And he is saying, stop with the branding. Nobody cares about that. Talk to me about my problems and my frustration. Move me towards clarity and action. So what do people do? They don't trust the brand names. They don't trust your literature. They don't trust the handshakes. They go to this thing called crowdsourcing. They believe that if I go to my trusted advisors and I consume from the body of knowledge, the body of experience that all these people have had, that I will find the best answer. And they go to their Facebooks, they go to their whatever their leisure forums are, where they hang with these people online, and they ask the question, and these people come back to them with an answer. So social media marketing mistake number one is you start talking to the person with the problem. That's the last person you want to talk to, because they don't trust you. They don't trust the system. What they're looking for is advice and counsel from their trusted advisors. So we need to speak to those people who are informing them, because social media is a referral sport. We need to advise the advisor. We need to tap into their families, their friends, their business colleagues, so that when their consultants say, oh my God, I can't afford this mortgage anymore. Can you help me? I know an agent who can. Social media marketing mistake number two, talking about you. Going back to Maslow. It's called social media for a reason. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we come up to the third rung, love and belonging. That's why people go into social media. Nobody's there to better themselves. They want to be a part of a group. They want to contribute. They want to be respected and revered. And in order to do that, they have to be able to contribute to that network. That's where their currency is. When you go into the social networking sphere, you cannot put the focus on you. It is likened to suicide because you're taking the focus on them. This is a narcissistic crowd. This is a needy, for the psych type people. These are people who want attention. They want to be able to contribute, and how they get attention is giving back into that forum. What we need to do is contribute to their conversation in context of what you do. How can you contribute to the conversation about real estate? You see this. You see, if you read the Facebooks, if you read the tweets, if you read all these forums where people are hanging asking questions, this is the relevant stuff to them. It's not who can list, who can buy. It's to solve these problems. And if we can put into the network, we're allowed to take out. And now we come down to the grassroots of advertising, ADA, attention, interest, desire, action. When you're sitting there working with your team or by yourself, taking the time to craft a communication, we need to walk through these 4 parts of it. What's going to grab their focus and attention from their friends and family and say, who's that? What is going to be interesting about what you have to say that you list and buy, that you can help them find a house? They can all do that very anonymously. They can just go to realtor.ca. I can find an agent, I can find a house, I can do all that work. Your value is not there. Your value is solving the frustration and the problems that they're having right now. You need to become the trusted advisor. Right now, these are the problems they're having between the time they buy and they sell. This is where you build up something in that bank account that they will draw out and recommend you. You need to bring balance to their network. We're not talking about an individual. We're talking about the whole network. I speak of a hive mind in some of my other training. And what this refers to is all these people, 100, let's say that you got a Facebook with, 60 regular contributors. That 60 regular contributors becomes an entity upon itself that feeds off the emotions, the knowledge, and the intent of the people participating in that ongoing dialogue and conversation. Within that group, when one person has a problem, they all have a problem. And this is the challenge that I see people trying to promote and advertise on social media. You're trying to talk to a single person. You're not. You're trying to communicate and involve yourself in a whole other organism. And when one of those organisms has a problem, one of them will come around and help them, and you want to be there and ready when that happens. You need to provide barrier-free anonymous access. Another mistake I see a lot of realtors do is on their website, before you can see this report on how to get the most money out of your home, you need to register your name. Click next. No sign-ups. Make downloads easily in a standard PDF format. Run free seminars. Put video on your site. Put links on your site. Give all this stuff away, because what you're doing is you're putting money in that social network bank account. And by the law of reciprocation, if you go in and say, hey, see you're having problems with this wet basement. Here's Bob, and he can help you with that. Now you have permission to say, listen, that really worked out well for you? Do you know anybody who's currently looking to buy or sell? I do. That is when the network will feed back to you. Social media marketing mistake number three. Yes, they can do it without you. I see a lot of force. I see people going in with crowbars and hammers and slugging out their ads and bashing their way in. You know what? They don't need you. And this is the big thing you got to realize. They don't need you. What you need to do is convince that hive mind that they can do it better with you. And how you do that is a continual contribution to their current frustrations and problems. And what you're trying to get through is this thing called filters. I have a laser on here someplace. They're filters. So consider this is the organism that's in there that we're sending this message through. Where your message stops is at the filter. If you're not attention grabbing, if you're not interesting, it will not get through that filter. And if we look at what those filters are, there's 6 of them. 6 basic attitudes. That organism has 6 parts to their brain that you got to figure out which one you're talking to and craft that message and hone it down so that you are speaking directly to it, free of anything that's going to make it scared or nervous. If we look at how communications are run, I'm amazed at how many salespeople, not saying anybody in this room, have never actually studied the laws of, or the model of communication. You really got to know the person at the other end. When you craft that message, you have to encode it in a way that they're going to decode it the same way you thought. There's a lot of people who speak in terms of what's going in their heads and their needs, called projecting, thinking that everybody out there thinks just like me. Who's my audience? Who's that person? What is the filters in their mind? How do I get my message through that? I have to encode that. Then your channel. You know what? Social media may not even be the right channel for you, depending on what you have. Some people can master it, some can't. Until you can, don't bother because you're wasting your money. But once you get through that channel and you get the message to the other party, you got to make sure that it's interesting to get through their filters, or it's just not going to be open. You need to become the trending conversation. This is the goal. If you're getting into social media, it's not about closing sales right now. It's about planting seeds. It's about putting currency or something into that universal bank account that one day, when they're ready, they will keep you front of mind. Any of you guys have studied a bit of psych, you know there's this thing called reticular activator in the brain. It's that thing that when you buy a car, all of a sudden you realize, wow, I didn't realize how many people actually had the same car. Or you get pregnant, and all of a sudden, wow, look at all the pregnant people. This is the thing in the brain that makes things pop out. This is what you're trying to program. This is all that effort that you're putting in. It's all about putting something in this part of the brainstem that gets you on the radar, that when the problem happens, boom, you're the front of mind. So when the alarm bell rings, when somebody has that problem, that frustrations that literally is tearing apart their relationships, that brings them back down from social and ego all the way down to safety and security, you're the one the network calls. Remember, no one person is going to do it. It is the network calling out and calling your name. So if you seem overwhelmed by all the things that are going around you, if you are overwhelmed by the thinking that I got to sit down and craft and think about all this and put it all together, I can help. This is where I'm very, very good at it. It's not a quick fix. Here's my 5-part plan that if you truly want to get into this end of the business, we need to build a list of solution providers in your social network. All the people that you know who do mortgages, basements, yards, whatever those problems that people have with properties, with owning property. Then we identify 100 problems that they can solve. Then you reconnect and re-engage with your past clients. Another thing I'm truly amazed at is the inability for salespeople, regardless of what industry they're in, to talk to past clients. The reason they go after new ones that I hear is like, I don't really have a database and all the names are still on the offers. I've never really copied them into a database. I just can't access them. So the key thing here is building that list and having that contact list of your past clients. Then reconnect and re-engage with those past clients, taking those 100 problems and communicating and finding out who has those and getting those problems solved, getting their lives back in balance, because you will be rewarded. We want to then see the social networks where they hang with these solutions. These people have the keys to hundreds of thousands of relationships. They're the ones who are going to recommend you. So we solve their problems, we put money in that bank, then we work with them to get into their social networks, and they do the work for you. It is the greatest sales force in the world. And then measure, monitor, and modify outcomes. You've got to have a tracking system. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away and you don't know where it is. I can help you with this. If this is a problem, if this is something you want to get in, call me. We can sit over coffee. I'll give you all the ideas for free. I'm not going to ask for money. However, if you can use my service, then I'll bill you. I am the man with a plan. This is what I do very well. Business and marketing plan development. Are you a wandering generality or a meaningful specific out there? Are you waking up each day reacting to what's on your phone, or do you have a plan? Are you able to delegate stuff to your team, or is your team running your business and you're just kind of, where should I be today, folks? GTD, David Allen. This changed my life. Getting things done. He has a whole freaking world that I never knew out there. But David Allen, look him up, GTD Productivity. You can download his books, you can get his CDs. This thing changed my life. This thing made me $8,000 in 24 hours. Website and advertising copy. There's a lot of people who can do it. I do it well. TV, radio, and internet edumercials. I've done TV commercials. I've done radio commercials. They're passe. What you want is some kind of tool out there through your websites, someplace where people can learn about you as an informer and advisor, not as the guy who can stick a sign in front of their lawn. Another thing about websites, just had this thought. What I notice is that some of you have 5, 10, up to 20 different points of access. You need to control access to your information through one point of access. What this means is you have your RMR website, you have your Coldwell Banker website listing, you have your listings populated in all these different places. No one person can find you in one place. Somehow, in your strategy, you've got to find a way to create one door to you. Otherwise, you're many different people and nobody really knows what you do. One point of access, all of your information is contained and controlled through there. Otherwise, you're out of control. You have no way to manage a change or an evolution in all this information. One point of access. And of course, thanks to people like Joe, Linda, Diane, Ralph, Judy, I've been able to work with all of you in the last 6 months developing a lot of personalized narrated listing videos. Here's where the benefit of these videos go. And I'm going to ask Joe if you could offer a few words here. What I see is the money-saving route is that when you put a well-narrated video tour online, you're not going out to the house all the time. You're not asking your client to stop their life, clean up everything, put the dogs away so somebody might be able to come in. It's always sunny on a video day. It never snows. Anybody can see it. Joe, what kind of results have you had?
Brilliant, really. I've said this behind your back. We've sold 2 properties now, specifically double-ended from video, where they had seen them online, did all the talking online, wrote the offer based on the video, and just went and saw the property on a home inspection. And it's something that's been almost measurable now. It's about 75 to 125 views. We start getting a lot of phone calls and some action from it. So
The last property we taped, we sold it before the video even went out. How's that, Joe? The big one that I saw for Joe, the real money saver, was the cottage up in North Peterborough. It's like 2.5 hours. Can you imagine dragging yourself up there for everybody who wants to kick a tire? Or after they've kicked the tire, well, I want my brother to come look at this because he's a contractor. You know what? You can get 80% of the tire kickers done and get somebody who goes, I want to come in and see that property. That is where these things pay.
He spotted sight unseen based on the video and did the inspection of the video.
So for $300, it will make that money back for you very quickly, just in you not having to go and stand around with people. Yes, sir.
The other part of it too, it's $300 for the video, and for me, it's great advertising. I coach 17-year-old kids in hockey, and my kids all know I'm a realtor that I coach, and they get a spoof for school on how stupid my videos are. But these are 17-year-old kids that watch it and think it's hilarious. So people are seeing this stuff. It's out there.
You don't have...
How it works.
Some people like Joe, who has honed his craft on being in front of somebody in a retail environment, he can make the pitch. Some of you may not be that comfortable. It's okay. We can work with you however you want. If you want to be in it, that's great. If you don't, that's great. We can make it look awesome. What I talk about high value is it's narrated. I write a script based on the feature sheet, and it's like it's like you walking somebody through. And it's a consistent story every time. Nothing is missed. When you send another realtor in to look at your property, are they really going to talk about this, that, and the stainless steel over here and just how great that bathroom is? Or are they just going to walk somebody through because they're having a bad day? This will tell the story each and every time. It is truly an investment in closing a deal. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shawn Chambers. I specialize in sales and marketing best practices. If I can be of any use to you, if I can be any use to any of your friends, ideas are always free. You can call me up almost 24/7, and I will have an idea for you. I will find a way to help make it work for you. Thank you very much for your time. Ralph, it's always a privilege.